They will not remember your name because you existed. They will remember it because you evolved, because you refused to remain the same. The world forgets the ones who waited, the ones who hesitated, the ones who chose comfort over transformation. In this life, you either grow or decay. You either move forward like a force of nature, or you dissolve into the background noise of those who never truly lived. You were not born to be stagnant. You were not born to settle for almost. Somewhere inside you is a fire. And no, it's not polite. It doesn't ask for permission. It demands that you rise. It demands that you sharpen your mind like a blade and refuse to die with your potential still locked inside your chest. Henry Ford said, "If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right." But he wasn't just talking about engines or factories. He was speaking to the soul of every human being who has ever stood at the edge of a decision: evolve or be erased. Obsession is not madness, not when it's obsession with purpose. Obsession is the heartbeat of every legacy. It's what built Edison's 1,000 failures into 1,000 lessons. It's what turned Carnegie's poverty into a steel empire. It's what took Disney from sketching in a mouse-infested garage to building a world where imagination became architecture. And it is the difference between those who only dream and those who become. You don't get to coast through this life and leave a mark. You don't get to grow casually. Not in a world that rewards intensity. Not in a world that only remembers the relentless, the obsessed. The ones who stared mediocrity in the face and said, "I am not like you, I will not be you. I was not made to die nameless." So choose now, evolve or vanish. The world does not reward the lukewarm. It does not pause for the hesitant. It races past the undecided and exalts those who know what they want and pursue it like their lungs depend on it. Growth is not a suggestion. It is not a hobby. It is warfare against your past self, against your excuses, against every voice that told you to play small. Most people tiptoe through life, praying not to fail. But you were born to attack life, to stare the impossible in the face and break it piece by piece with the hammer of daily action. Growth isn't an event, it's a decision made every morning before the sun rises and every night when your bones ache from effort. It's the discipline to read when others scroll, to move when others sleep, to believe when others doubt. Think of the greats. Think of Lincoln, a man who lost more elections than he won before becoming one of the most transformational leaders in history. Think of Hill himself, who wrote Think and Grow Rich over decades of poverty, rejection, and obsession with understanding the psychology of success. Not comfort, not luck, but mindset, belief, vision, unrelenting self-discipline. You want success? Then prepare to pay the price. You want transformation? Then marry yourself to effort. You cannot negotiate with greatness. You cannot half love your future and expect it to fully love you back. You must become possessed by growth, not inspired, not temporarily motivated, possessed. It must haunt you, follow you, whisper to you in your sleep, and scream at you in the silence. The path will not always reward you immediately, but it will always shape you. It will carve you into someone unrecognizable, someone forged, not born. Someone who chose pain over mediocrity, discipline over comfort, and evolution over acceptance. Because growth isn't always visible, but neither is erosion, and if you're not building, you're decaying. There is no neutral in this life. You are either climbing or slipping, evolving or evaporating. The mind is not a stagnant vessel. It is either being sharpened or dulled. And the terrifying truth? Most people are dull by choice. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack the burning need to become more. Clarity is the compass. Without it, you drift. Without it, you confuse movement with progress. You busy yourself with noise, but never direction. You confuse comfort with peace, but comfort is a liar. It doesn't love you. It wants you slow, soft, distracted, and forgettable. But clarity cuts. It slices through the fog. It defines who you are, what you want, and what you're no longer willing to tolerate. You need to get violently clear about what you're building, who you're becoming, what hill you're willing to die on. Because if you're vague, you're vulnerable. And if you're passive, you're prey. Growth demands precision. It doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you looked your future in the eye and said, "This is where I'm going. Burn the map. I'm not coming back." Purpose will not fall into your lap. It will not knock gently. It must be unearthed violently if necessary from the debris of your distractions. It must be pulled from the chaos of your past, the expectations of others, the noise of the world screaming at you to be normal, to stay the same, to be digestible, predictable, mediocre. But you didn't come here to be digestible. You came here to dominate your evolution, to stretch so far beyond who you were yesterday that your old self wouldn't recognize you. To develop a vision so intense it becomes a gravitational force, pulling the right people, opportunities, and energy toward it. That vision? It must become your obsession, not your interest, not your backup plan. It must consume you, because if it doesn't, something else will. And the world does not pause for those who are almost ready. There is a reason why the greats live in solitude before they ever rise in public. Because transformation is lonely. Growth is violent. It rips the old from your bones. It forces you to kill versions of yourself that once felt safe. And most won't understand. They'll tell you to slow down, to relax, to be realistic. But realism is the language of the forgotten. There is nothing realistic about rewriting your bloodline. There is nothing normal about refusing generational mediocrity. There is nothing average about obsession. You want to become something the world remembers. Then you must first become something the world resists. Disciplined, focused, unshakable. Discipline is not punishment. It is devotion. Devotion to who you said you'd be when motivation is gone. It is doing the work when no one is watching, when there's no applause, no attention, just you and the mirror. And in that silence, a decision must be made. Will I honor the future I claim to want? Because your life will always mirror your standards. You cannot demand excellence from the universe while tolerating weakness from yourself. You cannot wish for wealth while feeding habits of poverty. You cannot preach growth and wake up every day honoring stagnation. Obsession with growth means killing comfort. It means finding peace in pressure. It means choosing to bleed now so you don't starve later. You think greatness happens in breakthroughs. It doesn't. It happens in consistency, in the early mornings, the missed parties, the 10,000 boring reps nobody sees, the books read in silence, the meals skipped, the temptations declined, the habits rewired. It happens in private, long before the results ever become visible, because the world only sees the fruit. But the obsessed, they live for the root, the dark, the unseen, the soil no one celebrates. And they tend to it like a sacred ritual, every single day. And one day, the world watches them bloom and calls it talent.